These scary videos caught on camera have left the internet with no explanation. Some people say paranormal, some say ancient history, some say demonic. These shorts captured something that was never supposed to be seen. Watch the background closely. Skinwalkers caught on camera. I already know this is about to be a good one. Let's dive into this.
So these guys was out drinking in the woods, and they heard something in the back. So they tried to go figure out where it was. They seen glowing eyes, and they thought it was a goddamn deer, multiple deers. But when they got closer with their camera on, they saw this.
Did they jump him? Did they jump the Skinwalker? He looked wounded in the back. Look, am I tripping? They trying to help the one that was on the ground. They jumped him. Guys, they're trying to help him. He got jumped. Oh, that's not funny. Oh, they about to finish the jump. The Skinwalker's brother is wounded on the ground. How crazy is this?
So these guys was out.
Look at him, guys. You can't make this up. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. What is going on? What did they do to that Skinwalker that's laying on the ground? Uh-oh. You know the Terminator's projected in 2030 is when everything supposedly hit, according to the movies.
We've already heard from the World Economic Forum that they have the ability with AI to be able to read people's thoughts by putting in a little Bluetooth in someone's ear, that they can actually see what someone is actually thinking about as they're working. And they're going to sell it to us, Allison, as this is going to be good for employment, because employers will know whether or not their employees are daydreaming or thinking about other things other than the job. But what is it saying? It is saying that they now possess the ability to read our thoughts and now weaponize us with acoustical types of things that can be sent to us that throws us off balance, or
skull to voice technology,
or makes us feel crazy. This is all, where is it going? All about controlling the narrative, controlling people.
Absolutely, that is most certainly what it is all about, as has been made rather clear over the past couple of years especially. But yeah, I think this could obviously take an extremely turn here. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this led to targeting and testing and even like brings me to my next thought, which is the inevitable threat of artificial intelligence mixing into all this, right? Mix AI into the use of neuro weaponry and you get an entirely new uncharted territory.
And the whole idea is that we would have these biological sensors in our bodies, and then they could read our thoughts, know our emotions, know whether we're hungry or not, or anything like that.
Oh my goodness, that would explain the customized ads that's always popping up by just how I'm feeling, and I won't even say nothing. Do you guys experience that?
And so now it's a warfare of information. They will have everything on you. They will know we're coming and going. And so this kind of warfare, this kind of being able to target individuals. And think about this. There is no way to detect. There's no entry point. There's no exit point like a have. Yeah. They could just target somebody and they're saying, yeah, he went crazy. Yeah, I'm sorry. We and then turn somebody and,
that theory is absolutely insane. Drop your thoughts in the comments below.
Game of Thrones, Dragonstone Island. Right under our nose. Most of us seen these pictures of the island, but have we ever looked on the other side?
Oh damn! It's a Petrified dragon for an island.
The street view proves the existence of fossilized dragons. Literally right under our nose. Zoom in if you need to. It's all there, the neck, head, mouth, and its whole body. Look up what causes fossilization. The earth was covered with mud and water, and now earth is at sea level. Now everything is getting exposed by
Another example of hidden and erased forgotten histories. We could be walking on a petrified dragon remains and not even know it.
Bro, what do you have to do for them to show up like this? Bro, you gotta be like an organ trafficker or something, bro. Bro is probably Googling German war tactics or something.
It's a whole Black Hawk helicopter in the background.
Damn, bro is speaking out again. Bro, what do you have to...
What on earth are they feeding? What in Jurassic Park's name is going on?
From 1994 to 2006, while all of us were here, China constructed a dam, flooding over 1,300 old world sites. What was so important about this location? They needed to relocate over 1.3 million people, telling us that 50,000 graves were also relocated. And doing all of this for preservation, of course. We know that that's not the case. Preservation in China were from the previous civilization. They were from the old world, in my opinion. How many bodies did they leave there?
Just another example of more erased history.
How many of them did not look like us, with 6 fingers and 6 toes? We know exactly what they find when
Nephilim, anybody?
they uncover the old world. We've seen it so many times now. Are you starting to look at dams a little different than before? Are you ready to go even further and see what they submerged in China just a few years ago without any of us noticing? The White Crane Ridge, a supposed 1,200-year-old underwater stone encryption site that recorded ancient water levels and had one of the world's oldest hydrological records. This ancient stone ridge contained inscriptions and carvings dating back, we are told, to the 9th century AD.
So basically this was like a Chinese Atlantis that they try to erase from history.
Now we all know that this is the old world. This site would have given us an insight to the water levels in this location that are now submerged under 100 feet of water, where we are told that a special underwater museum was created so that visitors can just see it through glass after it was closed to the public and renovated. So who knows what was destroyed while being off limits to all of us. We all know how transparent the renovation projects are at this point. They're as transparent as a brick wall. We all know that renovation really means destruction.
What type of forgotten world do they have submerged over there exactly?
I'm going to tell you what to do when you get to the point where you can't go any farther, you can't get your breath. There's 2 ways to neutralize this lack of oxygen in our atmosphere. We want to get rid of the radiation. This, of course, is my own interpretation. Remember, what I'm telling you is my own findings, my own interpretation, my own experience. Soda and salt will neutralize any type of radiation.
You guys listening? I believe it's about to get good.
Usually. Your X-ray, any of it. Now, the portion that you use a bath. You know, in the olden times, they used to get in the bath for almost everything, and they weren't wrong, believe me. And I think we're going back to that.
You can't go wrong, you know. Am I the only one that feels great after getting a hot, warm bath? I can't do it enough. I need one now.
So you take a tub of hot water, and I mean a tub full, all it will hold, water as hot as you can stand it comfortably, and stay in that water until it cools down to body temperature. Now the heat brings all that to the surface, and when it cools, osmotic pressure brings it out into the cooler side. We're taking a therapeutic bath.
Nana trying to put y'all on game. Are y'all listening?
Now, when we get this low-grade radiation, we leave the salt out and use just soda, baking soda, Arm & Hammer. And you need to take about 2 to 3 pounds to a tub of water. And you use the same procedure. You'll be surprised what that will do to level off so many of these conditions that we've been fighting to overcome.
She definitely understands the mission. I'm vibing with this frequency.
It is effective. People say, well, I tried it and I felt so much better, but I feel worse again. Sure you do. You got another exposure. You don't clean this up. You keep working with it because it's in the air. It's everywhere. When you see the birds falling, when there is no more oxygen for them to fly with, and you ask someone at the head of the environmental department, what does the government do about this?
I'm sure they got some type of alternative hidden agenda at play when you bring it up.
Nothing the government can do. So then it's up to us as individuals to do this. And I tell you, friends, if you will try it, you know there's one wonderful thing about it. If it don't help you, it can't hurt you.
Interesting. Nana was trying to put us on game. What do you guys think about that? Is that something you guys do?
Explained it was, we had 2 timelines. We had a choice. They said that there were people in power scripting the book of Revelations to bring about the end of the world. They want to do this. These religious nuts, I guess you would call it. People that are, I don't know why they want to do that.
I think it's a shadow government, and that's why they're building bunkers and all this, because they're trying to engineer the end of the world.
Yeah, and that's what she told me. That's what the beings told me. That they were trying to bring about the end of the world. And if we go that route, it would end up in Armageddon. And like the Bible says, Jesus comes back and saves the world, right? That's what I was talking about with Sean Ryan, was that timeline. But the other timeline they said was that the reset button didn't have to happen if we made the choice to seek the light and remove the darkness from and that they were going to help. And that's by waking us up.
And does that lead us into the 2026 event?
2026 into a time of awakening, peace, not war.
And you have been called.
Jesus has brought me through so many storms, it's not even funny. I think nobody truly knows when the apocalypse is going to happen. That's why it's always nice to be prepared.
I know you don't like the word prophet,
right?
So let's just call it a prediction. What was the prediction that the lady made?
Well, what she told me was, it was a riddle in a way. She said when the red star of Regulus, now keep in mind, I don't know anything about astronomy. I don't know what Regulus is. She just put these numbered words out. She said, when the red star of Regulus aligns in the gaze of the Sphinx, and she showed it to me. It looked like a little red ball. Now, Regulus is blue.
It's blue.
But she said it would appear red on the horizon just before dawn. When that happens, at that point, it would mark a shift into a new knowledge and awakening of the people. Don't mean that you're going to flip the switch and we all of a sudden know that day. I think it's just the beginning of a new era, a new knowledge, and maybe that's the revealing of this, the truth of consciousness.
And this will be the Sphinx gazing at Regulus.
Yeah.
You know what constellation Regulus is in?
It's in Leo.
It's in Leo.
Isn't that crazy?
There's so much erased history and ancient history that textbooks really don't talk about. Who really knows what's really going on as far as the apocalypse? But again, I try to be ready at all times with Jesus.
It is.
Why does the Space Force have on their badge a triangle,
right,
with the Sphinx looking up at the star?
That's funny that you mentioned that. If you look at a lot of the logos, whether it's NRO, there's all this Egyptian iconography on them.
Yeah.
It makes me think they know something we don't know.
Oh, they do.
They do.
They do. I can tell you they do.
What?
They definitely know more than what they're saying, to say the least. In the Bible, it tells us that we battled spiritual wickedness in high places.
The Great Lakes certainly were something. That's why on so many old world maps, before the reset, you don't see them. You do see old world Chicago though. Laga.
Tartaria has some of the best old world maps. It's not even funny. What are they trying to hide with the erased history? A forgotten world.
That's a subject for another video if you haven't seen my past ones on that. I mean, just look how old this map is. They all show ancient towns, little castles even, all along the New World, long before they should be there. America's a lot older than we've been told. I believe these were indeed mined out and then dammed up afterwards, filled in with fresh water.
I heard a baby.
Take a look at this video that explains the process that they went through at Lake Michigan to run groundwater, fresh water from the lake into Chicago, with just horse and buggy and hammer and chisel, mind you.
As we drain the waters from the Great Lake, Michigan, a steel column is exposed, rising 40 feet to the ocean surface. It is a water intake station, claiming to have built this in 1865 by putting up cofferdams, pumping the water out, and then getting to the lake bottom and digging 200 more feet down. All the while, take a 90-degree turn and head 3 to 7 miles back to land with no compressed air or power tools.
Make it make sense. What type of levitation frequency were they working on carrying that different types of stuff?
Plus the fury of Lake Michigan and its frozen waters in the winter. These water intake stations on Lake Michigan were built prior to the filling of the reservoir that is Lake Michigan. They didn't dig down in between cofferdams to reach the bottom and dig another 200 feet down. We may just simply did it before they flooded the area it was planned, created.
Lake Michigan could possibly be man-made. What are your thoughts on that?
And implemented by the highest concentration of Masons in the country, the Great Lakes.
Add that one to the Tartarian vault. So many crazy Tartarian theories. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. What were they really working on?
In 1977, a physicist uncovered a truth so wild it shattered how we understand reality. He said the universe doesn't follow you, it negotiates with you, and he discovered the 3 steps behind it. Enter Dr. John Archibald Wheeler, Einstein's student, the man who coined the term black hole, one of the greatest physicists of the 21st century. But his most shocking discovery wasn't about space, it was about you. And he had one question: does reality exist independently, or does it respond to us? His experiments led him to an answer scientists had avoided for decades. Reality isn't fixed, it's participatory. Wheeler proposed something radical. The universe waits for you to make a move, and only
One of the best theories I've ever heard was one of the best quotes I ever heard was, the world makes way for the man that knows where he's going.
when you've moved does it reveal itself. Not a static world, a responsive one. A negotiation. His most famous quote: "We are participants in bringing about the phenomena of the universe." In simple words, your choice sends signals, and reality answers back. He found
like a frequency.
That reality responds to 3 kinds of signals: identity, who you decide you are; information, the terms you send to the universe; and action, the frequency of your choices. Send nothing, get nothing. Send noise, get chaos. Send clarity, reality shifts. Identity is the first negotiation point. Wheeler believed the observer is not passive. The identity you bring into one moment changes the moment itself.
That's why I always try to tell you guys to have a positive outlook on life and don't harbor any type of negative feelings or ill will towards anybody. It's all about resonating with the right frequency.
A fearful identity collapses fearful outcomes. A confident identity collapses higher outcomes. Step 2 is information. His theory, it from bit, It says reality is built from information. What you send the universe shapes what appears next. That information is your intentions, expectations, assumptions, and your emotional tone. These are your terms. Third step is frequency, or actions. Reality doesn't respond to one signal, it responds to repeated ones. That small, consistent actions change probability fields dramatically. A series of tiny choices usher in massive shifts. But
think about it like a pebble you throw into the water. You throw a pebble into the water, what does it do? A still pond? It starts reverberating, if that's the right word. The frequency causes like a wave and it ripples the entire pond. Just one small pebble will make a still pond do all that.
he issued one subtle warning. The universe mirrors all information, not just the positive. Fear is information, doubt is information, avoidance is information. All of it negotiates reality too. He designed a version of the double slit experiment that proved something insane. Your present choices can reshape past outcomes. Reality doesn't finalize until you interact with it, meaning you are not at the mercy of the past.
The double slit experiment is extremely interesting. I want to dive in deeper into that. I fully don't understand it, but the actual experiment itself I find incredibly interesting on the outcome.
Reality is not a movie you watch. It's a script being rewritten. Every time you decide who you are, send a clear intention, and act in alignment. This is negotiation, not manifestation. And long after Wheeler, neuroscience confirmed it. Identity shapes behavior. Behavior shapes probability, and probability shapes reality. Thoughts reorganize neural pathways. Actions change your environment, and identity changes your timeline. Wheeler wasn't spiritual, but he unknowingly shaped the foundation of manifestation. You don't attract, you influence, you participate. The universe isn't testing you. It's waiting for your next signal. Identity, information, action. That's the negotiation. So the real question isn't what do you want? It's what signal are you sending? Because reality is listening. Wheeler said we shape the universe as much as it shapes us. Now you know the code.
You know, that kind of reminds me of Jesus in a way. You got to think, Jesus Christ was vibrating on the highest frequency, if you ask me. Walking on water, do you know how high your vibrational frequency has to be to make that happen? Resurrection? Oh my goodness, he was the perfect prototype if you ask me. If you thought you weren't getting another specimen of the day, think again. Every single one of these comes straight from deep inside the earth, pulled from places most people will never go. Ancient minerals, forgotten formation, crystals that researchers believe carry frequencies the old world understood. And we are only in the beginning of these discoveries. Oh my goodness, look at this specimen. Looked like it was pulled straight out of Atlantis. Look at it. The sky formation piece that's sitting on the specimen is what really sets it off. The rating I'm gonna have to give this is at 8.9. If that specimen was larger, I'll go higher. And I would have to call this specimen the Atlantis Gem. 8.9, call it the Atlantis Gem. Drop your names in the rating for the comment of the specimen below. That's all we have for today's episode. If you made it this far, you already know what time it is. Drop the code word. The code word for today is frequency. Drop frequencies in the comments below so I know you're a real one. If any of these clips connected to something you have seen, something you know about, or something they are not telling us, drop it below. I read everything. If it's your first time here and any of this resonated with you, hit that like and subscribe button. We go deeper every single week. The erased history, the forgotten worlds, the things caught on camera that were never supposed to surface. We are just getting started. I'm Jet Ski Chuck, and remember, keep your head on a swivel. There's always more to what they're telling us. See you on the next episode.